with team news. Mix it up. You had 7 players out injured on the weekend.
Yeah.
Any players returning? Any fitness updates?
No, all of them are long-term-ish. Not long-term-ish. Yeah. I would say, yeah, definitely not available for the weekend. I think that's the most important thing for me.
What's the situation with Ben Mee?
That was a muscle injury, as we said a couple of weeks ago. He's progressing fine, so he's the probably the closest of them, I think. Yeah.
All unavailable for this week.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the subject. You know that's coming your way. VAR. Look, we've all seen the incident at time. We've all heard about it. Jurgen's comments afterwards saying that he believes the game should be replayed. Is that something you agree with? Do you understand his frustration?
I think we just look through that report that we get every week. I'm actually a little bit in doubt who makes it. I think it's Premier League who makes it, but where we look through the key moments or key match, not indicated, but moments, yeah, incidents. Thank you. That was either clean obvious wrong or like a red card, a penalty, offside, not offside. And I think those are the one we need to look into, especially the ones that is a clear and obvious error, like the Liverpool goal, like the Wissa penalty. Both situations after on-field, wrong decision, VAR, wrong decision. Those are the incidents we need to look into and try to improve. VAR will stay here. We need to do everything we can to improve it. I think it's been improved since we started. There've been minor setbacks now, or definitely very public ones, setbacks. And we need to look into that and see if we can make it better. It seems like we are talking more and more about a lot of incidents in the game, but the big ones we need to see if we can improve going forward, and then we need to try to protect this beautiful game and make it fluid and developing it.
Jurgen commented, said he was thinking about replaying the game. Do you think that's an option? Do you think there should be an option? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's Jurgen's comment, so that's up to him to comment about that. I was not involved in the game, so yeah.
Would you be asking for any games to be replayed if you were in a similar situation?
I don't think so, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so.
You mentioned the Johan Wissa incident. What the PGMOL said to you about that it was a mistake?
Yeah, on field, clear. What do you call it? 5-0. Should have been a penalty, and VAR. Yeah, also wrong. So clear penalty.
How do you accept that though as a manager? We know that how much pressure there is on them.
Yeah, I think we are forgetting that before VAR, probably a lot of times penalties that were missed, offsides missed, red card missed. But now it's because it's so clear, because of VAR, we speak even more about it. And we just joked a little bit about it before we started here. I'm tired to talk about that. I'd much rather want to talk about football and performances and going to one of the biggest clubs and greatest stadiums in the world for Brentford to play against Man United on Saturday. So there was made mistakes before by the refs. Human errors happens, and I'm glad that we are dealing with humans. Unfortunately, they will make errors. Of course, we need to develop them, which they do. We need to do everything we can to get to a higher level, and that's the same we need to do with refs and also the VAR.
Okay, let's move on.
Thank you.
I'll move on. I'm sure others might not.
You think so? Maybe we'll get him on another question.
You never know. No, let's talk about football. Let's talk about Ivan Toney. We speak about him a lot, but let's talk about it in a positive light that he back on the field, back doing what he does, back scoring a goal. How good was it to see that this week?
So good. Spoke with him just before he entered the pitch and say, enjoy it, I will. And you could just see he really would enjoy to get out there just to play football. He looked like he enjoyed it, and he does what Ivan does, scored a goal. So it was very good to see. He was happy after.
And how many games do you think he could be playing in this period, the next few months? Are you looking to get him out maybe once a week, once every couple of weeks?
Yeah, it's that balance because I think we need to, and that's what we're trying to think a little bit different in terms of getting that little bit more development system, so we can train hard on specific areas, and then maybe probably play a little less games. But it's that balance to get him up to pace and still work on different areas.
On Saturday, a trip to Old Trafford, not been a happy hunting ground in the past for Brentford, but seeing Manchester United struggles the last couple of games at Old Trafford, struggles in their form this season, 6 defeats in 10, does that give you a bit of optimism and hope going into Saturday?
The flip side to that is that they need to bounce back. They need to come flying out. They need to do everything they can to beat them. Of course, there's pressure on them to beat Brentford. But hey, Man United is a massive club. They need to. The pressure is there for them to win every game. So I don't think it makes that big a difference that we are coming and they haven't played that well. I'm always in doubt when you meet a team that is great form and momentum. Is that bad, or is it the other way around, or will that momentum end one day? I don't know. I think it's a great club, great team, great manager, fantastic players. Big challenge, but we're up for it, and of course we go there because and believe that we can get something out of it.
Well, for me, I know you are attention to details. You scrutinise every aspect of the team that you're playing up against. With Manchester United, have you seen anything different this season compared to what we saw last season?
They have a Danish striker up front. That's different.
And he's scoring goals.
Yeah, he's scoring goals, and I know he's not playing for Brentford, but I'm Danish, and I'm happy that Danish players are coming through and doing well. And I must say, it was an impressive performance for against Galatasaray. Two very good goals. He looks like he's in a very good place. Hopefully, we can keep him quiet on Saturday. That's the aim. Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi Thomas.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Very well. You?
I'm well, thank you. So I wanted to ask you about your attackers. I may come back to your fellow compatriot in just a moment, but Mbuma and Wisa rather, they haven't scored in the last 3 games. They did start the season very well, filling in for the goals that you're evidently missing from Ivan and Tony. How concerned are you about that?
I think every offensive player or goal scorer going through spells in the season where they are not scoring that regularly. Unfortunately, there's a minor spell here for Jon Wissa and Brian. They haven't scored. I look at the performances, and if they are still getting on the end of chances, working hard for the team, and I think the way I see them, they're still arriving in the right areas, still getting on the end of things. I think Wiss has been very unlucky not scoring against either Arsenal or I would say actually even Newcastle before that. Brian got into good areas against Everton and also Arsenal okay against Nottingham. So I think I'm still confident that they can score goals and will score goals for us.
Going into this weekend, the balance is just 1 win from these opening games, and that came against Fulham on the second match day. Are you concerned about that as well? That you did manage to get over those losses and pick up a point and probably feel unfairly done that you didn't get all 3 points. But how are you hoping to try and change things to turn those maybe near draws into wins?
Good question. I wish I could answer it and just have that boom magic formula that will just give us the win. I think it's the consistency in performances, in messages, in the way we want to do things. As I said before, it's been good or very good performances in 6 out of the 7 Premier League matches. actually towards where you're thinking, quite a few of them we should have won. For various reasons we didn't. Maybe concede a goal we shouldn't have conceded, or didn't score that second goal that could have, just done the game so we will win it. Right now we're just in that spell, and there's only one way out of it: work hard, keep going, keep believing, and there is a good energy in the group. Every day when I come in here, they train hard. They're good to be around. So I convinced this. Hopefully, just a matter of time. Hopefully on Saturday.
Looking ahead to that game against Manchester United, you were very complimentary about the manager and the club as a whole. Are you surprised at what seems almost like a drop off for them? Because Erik ten Hag came in, got them to a third place finish last season, League Cup under their belt, and now they're having one of their worst starts to a season. 34 years, only 7 goals in the Premier League. Are you surprised by that?
Maybe a little bit in terms of what you would have expected before the season, but this is football. This is the most competitive league in the world. The difference between teams are not big, and it's difficult to win in the Premier League. Everyone is saying that, and when you then got some injuries to maybe some key players for them, they're missing. That can affect it. I'm not an expert on Man United. It's not them. I'm watching them every week. I'm preparing for this game. It goes a little bit up and down. I'm pretty sure when they will come on top again. Hopefully not on Saturday.
And then maybe, is there a similarity between your side and them in that you and Erik ten Hag are dealing with new goalkeepers trying to adjust to their league and their back line having key injuries in the defence too?
Yeah, there could be something in that. That's we try to make the team to glue with either new goalkeeper or new players around them, but could be. Again, I don't know exactly too much about Man United about that, but I know for ourselves, I think I'm pleased. I think it goes in the right direction for our point of view.
And then just finally, I do want to ask you about Rasmus Hojlund. You mentioned 2 very good goals there. He looks extremely confident and has such great composure in the box. How do you try and contain him and keep quiet, as you said?
Yeah, of course we need to be aware of not giving him too much space to run into. He's quick. He's good in his timing of runs. So we need to see the situations early, and try to close down the sources into him. That's definitely a key area for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anything else for the immediate section? Yes, sir.
Hi, Tom. You touched upon it briefly there about the consistency in performance, and you also mentioned last week that when you're going through a tricky run of form, for you, the important thing is the consistency and good performance, perhaps taking a bit more importance over the actual results. How long is it though, and how difficult is it if those results don't start going your way to continue with that sort of frame of mind?
But it's always difficult. Of course, it's difficult. It's just more fun to win games. It's easier. Everyone is happy. The journalists ask better questions. It's so much more fun. But it's the only way out of it, and it's just, of course, it's tough. You guys know we had the bad run here where we only won 1 and draw 1 in 10 games, and that was the same with it. We did the same thing, more or less. Of course, you adjust and details and all that. We had that run in the first season in the Premier League where I think we didn't win in 9 or something like that, including a cup game or something. And it's the same. You need to evaluate the same way. Of course, you twist it because sometimes you try to be a little bit more positive, to lift them. Other times you need to be brutal honest. You always need to be honest, but you need to give them a little bit. But it needs to be inside how can you say, inside can't be too positive or too negative. It needs to be in here because then you're just too much or too little. It needs to be inside here where you are honest, but you tell what's going well, what we're working on, and just doing that on a consistent basis. I think that's a key thing. And then if you train well, if you have a good culture, if you do all those things, then things will turn, no doubt. And it's luckily, touch wood, all that happened for us here over the years, and I'm convinced it will happen again.
You might not want to speculate on how your opponents might be approaching it, but also a tricky run form, which is also been touched upon. Do you think they will share that mentality of the priority has to be just getting the right performances in, or because maybe the expectation on a club like Manchester United to win is higher, they might have the mindset of we kind of need to win at all costs?
Yeah, but no, I think if you gave me and Eric the possibility of play a bad game on Saturday and then win, play a top game and then lose, for the one single game, you always pick that. But if you gave me that over 10 games, it will not be good because eventually it will not be right, and then there will be a bigger drop. I think. So of course we all want to win, and maybe just get that lock or margins with you because you can build on that. But if it's not consistent performance, it's not sustainable.
Moving on to the injuries, 7 players out. United also have quite a substantial injury list at the minute, and a lot of people are sort of pointing fingers at the minute towards the fact that the games in the league this season, they're lasting a little bit longer. There's more added time at the end of each half, and there's speculation that that might be playing a part in what's causing a few more injuries this season. I wanted to get your opinion on that, and also I wanted to ask you if that is potentially something you're thinking about. At what point do we need to get to where more and more injuries happen before someone steps in and is looking out for player welfare?
I think it's a good question. I think the sample is too small to speculate in the extra injury minutes we're playing. I think 7 games in and a couple of rounds in the European cups. I think that's too small a sample to look into. But I definitely think it's something we need to look into over a season in general. And also for player welfare, I think we need to look into it in general, how many games that they are playing and how much time they're off. And also, I think a big thing, the intensity in the games are just going up. It's going quicker and quicker, and especially the Premier League. We know that's one of the most intense. It is the most intense league in the world. So there's something in it that we need to be aware of.
And as a manager, you're dealing with these injuries, and also for your recruitment team, in terms of building a squad that can potentially cope with a bit of an injury crisis. How difficult is it to build a squad where you know that the strength and depth is there, so that if you have 4, 5, 6, 7 injuries, key players, that you know you've got the squad there, and there's not going to be that drop off in the level of performance?
I think everyone want. I think it's a little bit different. Some, I guess, head coaches or managers or clubs want maybe a little bit more, others want a little bit less. I'm towards the little, a smaller, a thinner squad, not too thin. With 20 robust players that can play every minute. Huh? That's all we're aiming for. But sometimes you're just unlucky with injuries. Other times you think you've signed a robust player. It turned out he wasn't, or you're actually building them over time to be more robust. So personally, I will still aim for a squad that are not too big. That's personal, but of course try to build it with as robust as possible.
And then finally, this game this weekend starts the run of 3 pretty tricky away fixtures for you in the Premier League: Old Trafford, then Stamford Bridge, then Anfield. Does that put pressure on your players, knowing that they've got 3 really tough away games coming up, or do they play with a little bit more almost freedom, knowing that maybe the expectation isn't on them to grab all 3 points?
Me and as manager, I think the players, I don't think we look too far ahead. I definitely never speak about. I was not even aware that we playing away. Only thing I'm focusing on is United on Saturday. Then I know it's international break or games, whatever we call it, and then I know we have Burnley. That's how far I can look. Yeah, and I think it's been actually a very big strength of ours the last 3 years here, or this is the 3rd season in the Premier League, and actually since since I've been in the club that we only look one game ahead, and we respect everyone. As we're going into, in some eyes, the biggest club in the world, one of the most iconic stadiums in the world. So we know it's be difficult, we respect them hugely, but we believe we can win. We know we can lose, but we believe we can win, and we've done that to any team in the Premier League, and I think that's been a big strength. Hopefully, it can continue. You're welcome.
Anything else at this point? Yes, Jay.
Just a couple from me. Good to see you again, Thomas. I'm kind of linking in with the injuries question. I asked you this on Sunday. I'm not too sure if you've had the chance to look into it, but just about whether there should be a cap on the amount of minutes a player can play each year. Hopefully, you got the chance to research.
Yeah, no research. I'll think I'll get a PhD student on it, but no. I've been thinking about it without using all my hours at night instead of sleeping. But I think it'll be difficult in practice to have a cap on games you can play. But I think the question that is asked about player welfare or how you protect them, I think there's something in that. I don't know the exact answer to that, but there's something in that.
And then just a couple on injuries. I wanted to ask you a couple of specifics. So you said Mikkel's had keyhole surgery and you were going to wait to see kind of it calm down. So is there any update on how that's looking?
When was that? A week ago? Yeah. So that's normally 2 weeks before they can train. So the first 2 weeks is natural that they can't do anything because they had there was operation. So in a week's time, hopefully we know more.
And then we talked about Charlie Good because he's not played in a long time, but I've noticed he always seems to be on the bench for home games, kind of supporting the players and things like that. How come he's still injured? Is there injury you don't know about?
Yeah, but he's on the way back, so he's in a good place.
And also just how nice is it that a player who's been out for so long, I don't think he's even played for Brentford in quite a while because of these loan spells, clearly still feels like he's such a part of the squad.
Charlie's a fantastic character in so many ways, and he's so good for the group. And just hope and wait for him to be fully fit.
Yes, Natalie.